Quack Jon Jones is back with one of the most blatant ducks that I think I have ever seen. He literally says in this interview, if they make me fight Tom Aspinall, I am retiring from the sport. Give me Pereira or nothing else. I will not fight anyone else. I will vacate my own title and just move on from the sport and his life apparently. So he's really not wanting to fight Tom Aspinall. We're going to start us off by Jon Jones explaining to us why he isn't ducking Tom Aspinall. Let's see if he's making any sense.
I feel like the narratives have been created that just truly aren't there. You can't duck a man that you were never scheduled to fight. It's like saying you got turned down by a girl who you never even hit on. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
But he is the interim champion, so even though you've never agreed to fight, throughout the history of the UFC, the interim champion gets next dibs. It's always how it's worked. When you became the interim champion, you win the next title shot. When anyone has ever become the interim champion, the next line is they will fight the champion and unify the titles. And if the champion says, no, I'm not going to fight the interim champion, give me someone else, that's a duck.
Like, me and Dana and Hunter have never sat down and talked about Tom Aspinall. He's never been on my radar.
But Dana White has said he thinks you will fight Tom Aspinall after he beats Stipe Miocic. So maybe he's not on your radar, but the UFC are looking to make that match. And I'm sure Dana White has mentioned to you once or twice, oh, so after you're done with Stipe, what are you doing next? So what are you doing in July of next year? You got anything booked? Any vacations? If not, come to work. Tom Aspinall will be there, defending his interim title. I'm sure Dana White has mentioned to him, look mate, your next title shot's gotta be Aspinall. Because Dana White has said himself, he thinks Jon Jones is gonna fight Aspinall afterwards. Because he's a savage.
Never. I mean, just a moment ago, it was him and Sergey that was fighting.
Screw him. Anyway, we're going to move on to a little bit later on into the interview and just continue on. By the way, keep in mind, this interview is to build up his fight with Stipe. They talk about Aspinall for about 60% of it. Maybe more. I think Stipe is mentioned like 2 or 3 times. Not even by the reporters. Jon Jones himself brings him up.
When I beat Glover Teixeira, he was on a 20-fight winning streak. And you beat Glover, and then everything just moves on. So for me personally now, it's just like, I get that Tom is an exciting fighter. I get that finally, after 16 years, we found somebody who's 7 years younger than me and 30 pounds bigger than me.
So after all these years, we finally found someone that can be worthy enough to challenge Jon Bones Jones. Oh, and one more thing. He says, oh, we finally found someone younger than me, heavier than me. You are the heavyweight champion of the world. You know what that means? It means you fight fighters between 206 and 265. That's what it means. It doesn't matter if they're weighing 265 pounds. It doesn't matter if they're weighing 206 pounds. If they're in the heavyweight division, you are eligible to fight them. They're in your division. You became the heavyweight champion. You cannot be the undisputed heavyweight champion being like, well, if this guy's heavier than me, why should I fight him? No. Should have just stayed at light heavyweight then, little buddy. Alright?
Like, we finally found someone who may give me a great challenge. And everyone wants to see it so bad.
Everyone wants to see it so bad, but... Well, if everyone wants to see it so bad, doesn't that mean it'll do good pay-per-view numbers? Because I believe Stipe, I'll be honest with you guys right now. Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones is not going to do the pay-per-view buys that Jon Jones versus Aspinall would have done. Like, no one is caring about this Stipe fight. Like, I get it, we're kind of excited just because, like, it's like Jon Jones is fighting, let's shit on him. And that's the excitement for the fight, because other than that, no one thinks he's going to win other than Michael Bisping. And if you're watching this video and you have a problem with that, shut up, you're watching, okay? Let's watch.
But for me, it's like, what is it? What's in it for me? He changes nothing if I beat him. Beating Tom is just like beating Cyril Gane. Has a whole country behind him. He's hot right now. What happens to me after I beat him? Nothing changes for me. So.
Well, in my opinion, if you beat Tom Aspinall, you are the undisputed GOAT of mixed martial arts. I'm sorry. There's just no more debate other than actually, you know what? That's not true. You're a drug cheat your entire career, so there is a debate. But if you take that out of the equation, you're the undisputed GOAT of the sport, and I understand. Years down the line, people aren't going to care about this because already, like 10 years ago, the fighters from then, like they were top 5. People nowadays don't care about them. So I understand like the train of thought that Jon Jones is going through right now, but this Tom Aspinall is not this Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes, Thiago Santos, Owen St. Preux level of disgrace to the sport and a title fight and a pay-per-view main event. He's not that. He has defended his interim title. He is seen as the next GOAT of the heavyweight division. Well, not the next GOAT, but like, you know, like the next star of the division going further 3-4 years into the future. If you beat Tom Aspinall and retire, and then Tom Aspinall goes on to dominate the heavyweight division, you have, every time Aspinall wins, it just proves how good you are. You become, without a doubt, the greatest fighter to ever live. Pereira does nothing. He's a middleweight. Your entire career is built on middleweights, man. What the hell? Anyway, let's move on a little bit more.
The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt, and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense.
But
so the fans are just ignoring it.
But the next fight negotiations would be against Tom Aspinall, because he's the interim champion. Historically, we have seen the interim champion fight the undisputed champion when the interim champion is the interim champion. We have not seen the interim champion that many times defend his interim title while the undisputed champion is fighting a 41 to 42 year old, I can't remember his age, man in a gimmick fight that no one really cares about. That's delayed the division so significantly, but continue.
Ignoring all logic, and they just have finally found someone that they think can compete with me, and everyone wants to see it now.
And everyone wants to see it. Exactly, Jon Jones. Everyone wants to see it. You know what that means? You get money out of it. It's not like, oh, this fight doesn't make sense for me. Who even knows who Schmitty Schmellersberger is? No, this is Tom Aspinall. Everyone knows him. Everyone thinks he's better. I have some casual friends who are like, oh, why is he fighting Stipe? He should be fighting Aspinall. And they couldn't name more than 8 fighters. And 4 of them are Australian. And 1 of them is McGregor. And then the other one's Nate Diaz. Like, that's the caliber, and they know who Aspinall is. They know that you're ducking him. The casual fan knows you're ducking the smoke, my guy.
I guess the clarifying question then is, if Dana and Hunter do come to you after this fight, they make the figures make sense to you, would you then be open to fighting Tom Aspinall, or are you categorically thinking, he does nothing for me, I will not fight that guy?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me.
What is happening? I don't know why he keeps doing that, but more importantly, he does nothing for him. Even if the figures make sense. Even if the money's what he wants it to be. Even if the money's there. It doesn't make sense. Instead, apparently beating a... Pereira's not fat. But beating a middleweight while you're the heavyweight champion is gonna do more for your legacy. You have a career of beating middleweights, Jon Jones. I thought that would stop by the time you got to heavyweight. Why is that still your approach? The figures make sense. This makes sense. That makes sense. The timing makes sense. Tom Aspinall will wait for you to get back on the injections up the bum for 6 months. Everything makes sense, but it just doesn't make sense for me, actually.
If you're a person that wants to see me really challenged, then I get it, right? Like I said.
What? If you're a person that really wants to see you get challenged and not get freebie layups for your legacy, then it makes sense. Well, no shit, Sherlock Holmes. Well, isn't that why anyone wants to watch a fight? To see, like, someone get challenged? Oh, I don't know who's going to win. Maybe it's going to be this guy, maybe it's going to be this guy. You know what Jon Jones is basically telling us right now? He's basically telling us that Stipe Miocic is nothing but a pebble on the roof. That is his legacy. Just another former champion falling on the roof. Clickety-clack. Here goes Stipe. That's all it is. It's just a gimmick fight, and he's admitting to it. If you want to see me get competitive with someone, I would make sense, but if you just want to see me have some bullshit fights against old men and middleweights, then it just doesn't make any sense for me.
7 years younger, like 35 pounds bigger than me, right? I get it. It's like, wow, this John's...
He's within the heavyweight limit. It's fair play. It's not like, oh, 35 pounds heavier. How dodgy. No, that's the limit for heavyweights. So, bad luck, buddy.
So good. We finally found someone way younger and way bigger than him. Let's see how he does against that. I get that narrative.
You shouldn't have moved up to heavyweight if you didn't want to fight people that were within the heavyweight weight limit. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And there's a spider right over there. which I'll kill later.
But for me, if you were my manager, if you were on my team, why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Right now, I
No, you don't.
had to eat a big breakfast because I'm getting underneath 235.
He came into the Garden fight at 248. He's not getting under 235. He was not coming into the light heavyweight division cutting from 220, right? Khabib was cutting like 30, 40 pounds to make lightweight. There's no way Jon Jones, a bigger dude with more weight to cut, was coming into the light heavyweight division cutting only 15 pounds. Shut up, Jon Jones. You're lying, you fat-bellied steroid freak.
Pereira walks around at like 240, and he has magnificent accolades. Business-wise, it makes more sense. I'm going to call him this, fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight...
He had to fight the... how can I downplay this like it's not a threat to me? Maybe more dangerous, maybe. Clearly more dangerous.
the guy with all the accolades, who's incredibly dangerous.
Incredibly dangerous. But I thought you didn't want to take competitive fights anymore. Isn't that what you were saying before, Jon Jones? If you want to see a competitive fight, I can see why it makes sense, but I don't want that. So...
But it actually will affect your legacy.
No, it won't. Anyone with half a brain, don't listen. The general MMA population is the worst fan base of any sports. They're the lowest IQ human beings, and I'm not saying you are, because if you're watching my video, obviously you're a high IQ, big brain man, most likely, because I've seen the analytics. They're all men. It's just, like, no one thinks this way. Like, no one thinks, oh, 17 title defenses, 15 title defenses, Jon Jones. Look a bit deeper. It's Irvin St. Preux, it's Anthony Smith, it's a bunch of bullshit fat middleweights who could potentially have been welterweights if we're being honest here. But it's just a lot of that in his resume. Let's not just get out of hand and be like, oh, he's the GOAT, he beat Dominic Reyes, controversially. No. Anyone with half a brain knows Aspinall does everything for his legacy, while Pereira does nothing. It's just another middleweight on the roof.
Me beating Cyril Gain didn't change anything for me, just gave me a few more millions. And it would be the same for Tom Aspinall, where when you look back and it's like, Jon just beat Alex Pereira. It's bigger. It's just much bigger. And anybody who can't understand that logic simply doesn't want to.
No, it's not. It's not bigger. Your legacy is bullshit, for starters. You will be the heavyweight champion that beat a former middleweight champion. That will be your legacy, you dumb idiot moron. That does not do more for your legacy. How does that make any sense? So if Ankalaev beats Pereira, do you still want this fight? No, right? Because it doesn't do enough for your legacy, or you would still take that fight. Because your entire logic is bullshit. You idiot. We're going to move on, but this is one of the clearest ducks I think we've ever seen. Like, all these reasons. Also, if you want to see me in a competitive fight, like an actual non-bullshit gimmick fight that, you know, is completely rigged from the beginning. Like, let's be honest here. Just to bolster his legacy, there's no way Dana White, the guy who's like, oh, well, if this doesn't work for me, we're just not doing it, has waited 2 years almost for this nonsensical gimmick fight. If it wasn't just to say, and feed his own ego and just say, you know, I told you, he made the greatest heavyweight of all time look easy. It's not him. That's a resume. Being the greatest heavyweight in the UFC history is a resume thing. It does not indicate how good you are in the moment.
Agree that the Alex Pereira fight would be massive. Obviously, the accolades, I think, is a really strong argument you make. That said, I think that one of the critiques people have is not that you picking Alex over Tom, it's the he doesn't deserve the fight me statement. When you compare his career at this point to when you got a title shot, he has more wins, more stoppages, more wins against ranked opponents, more main events. He's got the interim title. So what is your response to people saying, like, not that you take it Alex Pereira, I mean, gosh, the guy's amazing.
Right.
But Tom doesn't deserve me comment.
Did you see Jon Jones' face like, and he has what? You know? Like, when you were in the same position as Tom Aspinall, you had done way less than he had. You got a title shot, you got a chance to make your own legacy, you fought Shogun Hua. Tom Aspinall has done way more than you at the same point in their careers where they're looking for a title shot. Tom Aspinall actually won a belt. He won the interim title on short notice against Pavlovich, and then he defended against Curtis Blades. And guess what? Another top 5 heavyweight right now. Volkov couldn't make it past the first round with him. All of these wins in the first round, 3 of the 5 best heavyweights on the planet right this exact moment. Well, maybe 6 or 7, because Ngannou's out there. You know what I mean, though. Like, they are high-level caliber fighters, and he's beaten these guys that could honestly be title defenses. Like, Curtis Blades was honestly a undisputed title defense. Curtis Blades was on a good streak, beat a surging contender, deserved it. But let's see what you think.
Well, maybe I didn't phrase it right. Maybe I didn't phrase it right. You know, the truth is he does deserve many great things in his life, and I wish him to have a magnificent UFC career. I really do. I have nothing personal against Tom.
Nothing personal against Tom. I think he later contradicts himself. Just more excuses.
So maybe I shouldn't have said that he doesn't deserve, because he does deserve great things. What I'd like to see him do is go on and have a great career. You know, so many times people like to just try to go straight to the top, you know? And if we're in a business setting where he is and where I am, he wouldn't even be crossing paths with me.
Just a boring, like, reasoning he gives. Let's connect this dot to this dot, even if it makes no sense. If we're in a business sense, it doesn't make any sense for me. You're not this big draw, Jon Jones. Let's not act like before Cyril Gane you weren't fighting Dominic Reyes and Anthony Smith. Like, I understand there were decent pay-per-views, but you're not this McGregor type guy. Like, you ain't this big star that is untouchable. Tom Aspinall wins a few more fights, he's in your realm, realistically. If he does, because honestly, the only reason he hasn't been active is because he's waiting for you, you fat pig.
He wouldn't even be talking to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's not about what Tom deserves or don't deserve. I believe it's what I do deserve. And after this many years with this company and all the work that I've put in, I believe I'm at a place where I deserve to be able to say, I don't want to fight that guy. I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy. And that's why I'm be more than willing to relinquish the belt. I don't feel like
He would be more than willing to relinquish the belt that he waited 3 years to come back to fight for? 3 years he waited. Let that sink in. This is honestly him saying, I know so much that I'm going to lose. I know exactly how he's going to do it. I know exactly how embarrassing it's going to be. I'll just give up the belt if it means I can skip him. That's honestly what he's saying. That's the greatest fighter of all time?
I need the heavyweight championship of the world. I feel like what I've created for myself is almost bigger than belts. To take a step back and say, hey, you become the heavyweight champion. Go ahead and let's see you become a 17-time champion.
17-time champion. Okay, he's already 2 times, right? We can admit he's a 2-time champion right now, right? Beat Pavlovich, interim title, whatever. Defends the interim title. Technically should be undisputed after that, but 2-time champion, right? You fought bullshit midgets your entire career. If Aspinall starts fighting light heavyweights, like let's say all of a sudden Jamal Hill's getting a title shot at heavyweight, that would be completely bullshit as well. And Jamal Hill's actually a good light heavyweight. You were fighting Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos from the middleweight division. Chael Sonnen on short notice. No, you didn't take that fight. Chael Sonnen. Vitor Belfort. You were fighting midgets. What are you on about, Jon Jones? 17-time champion. Who cares? That's bullshit.
Well, let's see you even beat Stipe's record. That's going to be hard for anybody to do.
Nah. Aspinall's already got 1, 2 more to go. You can be number 2, and then Stipe, still gonna have number 3. Why not?
But what I do feel like I deserve is the ability to just take a step back and say, hey, either I retire or I start fighting fights that make sense to my legacy.
So he would rather retire than fight Tom Aspinall because it doesn't make sense for his legacy to unify the 2 belts. What do you think is going to happen if you're fighting Pereira? You think Aspinall's just going to be sitting out fighting someone else defending his interim title? You dumb moron. That's not how the sport works. This is a sport at the end of the day. Let's be honest here, right? I understand it's a bit of a Mickey Mouse front house type of sport. Like anything goes, just a bit of a joke to everyone. But it is a sport. There is rankings. There is matches to be made. There are fights that make sense. Like people's careers cannot be halted because this dickhead over here is deciding he's just going to hold the division hostage and fight Alex Pereira, while Alex Pereira also holds his division hostage as a result of it. But Alex Pereira's not going to get any hate. He's already kept the division active enough for 2 years, honestly.
And Alex Pereira is the only fight right now that makes sense to my legacy. A guy who's young and, my...
Look at him slip up. Oh, young. Oh, wait, no, I can't lie like that. My age. Like, he's like building up Alex Pereira. Like, oh, well, he's young. Oh, wait a minute. He's my age. Is what he basically said. A middleweight. A former middleweight. I understand he's a huge dude. He's light heavyweight size, for sure. But he could make the middleweight cut. And you're saying that he's heavier than you. You're lying.
Age and active still and have something worthwhile to me.
Well, that's enough of that nonsense. I've heard enough. Let's skip on ahead. There's so much of him just spewing vomit the entire time. And you know what? I got hate for my Michael Bisping video. I'm standing on that Michael Bisping video. Shut up, Michael Bisping, you one-eyed freak. You're a shill of the UFC, literally. Why are you saying Stipe Miocic has a chance to beat Jon Jones? So you can go on your little podcast with Anthony Smith and be like, well, that's what a championship level fighter looks like. Oh, Anthony Smith, don't feel sad that you lost to Jon Jones. He beat the greatest heavyweight of all time. He beat Stipe Miocic. How could you possibly be sad? Shut up, man. And fuck Anthony Smith too. I'll make a video on him for his fight.
So the main goal is to get past Stipe. And if I can do it in a really dominant, devastating fashion, then the desire in my heart would be like, okay, now it's Alex Pereira. And if the UFC doesn't want that to happen, because ultimately it's the boss's decision, then it won't happen. And I'll just move on with my life.
He is so passive-aggressively saying, Dana White, if you want to make money with me, guess what? You ain't making me fight Tom Aspinall there. You're making me fight Alex Pereira. And if I don't get Alex Pereira as the heavyweight champion of the world, I'm retiring from the sport. He wants I get it. Alex Pereira's a light heavyweight champion. I understand. I respect that. I understand going for champ status means a lot to a lot of these fighters. But Pereira first has to beat Ankalaev. And what if Ankalaev beats him? Will you just retire because the fight is gone? Or will the fight still make sense in your eyes? Oh, well, it doesn't matter if Ankalaev beat him. Just give him a title shot against me. You dumb moron. You stupid moron.
But that's one of the ways I look at it is, would you guys rather lose me or get one more super fight? And
I'll lose you. Doesn't really bother me too much. You were gone for a while and the sport was doing just fine without you, to be honest. Or I get it, then afterwards you can just go on Twitter and be like, good job Aspinall, but you could never beat me. But the thing is that those tweets wouldn't mean anything, because we all know he would, because he retired you from the sport without ever fighting you. If Jon Jones, you were just willing to say, this is my last fight, I have nothing to prove, I'm leaving the sport after Stipe, there's nothing that can change my mind, no Alex Pereira, no nothing, no, even if Conor McGregor decided to fight you, you would be like, no. Even though that would make no sense whatsoever, you'd squash him like a bug. But I would respect that. You know, I was like, here's the thing, right? Jon Jones has done this sport enough times, like enough fights that he's had, that it's like, yeah, like at the end of the day, he dominated the light heavyweight division. He's beaten everyone. Everyone that was an up and comer that could beat him, he beat them. He beat all of them. And then it's like, okay, if Stipe is the last stone you want to throw on your roof, fine. But you are actively looking to make more money in this sport with Alex Pereira instead of Tom Aspinall. You disgust me. Which should mean a lot to you, by the way, because my opinion is quite highly regarded on YouTube.
The only super fight that makes sense to me, not to everyone else, but to me and my team, is Alex Pereira.
Not to the world and the legitimacy of the sport, just to Jon Jones and his friends, his coaches. Let's go on to this last little portion of the interview. This is just disgusting behavior. Could I have a shower after this?
Challenge. They want to see greatness challenge. Like, does that entice you at all still?
There's a part of it that does, but if I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him.
Jon Jones calling someone else an asshole. Can you believe that? When pigs fly, right? Also, the reporter asked, do you still want to feel like you challenge greatness? And it's like, oh, part of me does, but mostly not really. But, you know, maybe I'd fight him if he wasn't such an asshole. coming from Jon Jones, who literally beat his wife, has been caught with multiple felonies, has taken multiple drugs, ruined multiple events, done steroids before. What else has he done? I think he's gone out in public and like sped or something. Oh, hit a pregnant woman. But he's an asshole? And you ran away from the scene. That woman could have died. But you ran away from that scene and you came back to grab what? Your marijuana and you're like $20 or something? But he's an asshole? Literally one of the biggest assholes the sport has ever seen, Jon Jones.
You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't.
Kind of like your fans are, you know, after you sit out for so long, then come back and then you just go, he's the GOAT, he beat Dominic Reyes, there's no conversation. When we go on Wikipedia, it says green next to his name against the fight with Dominic Reyes, so it doesn't really matter that he really lost. Let's just look at Wikipedia, let's just look at the results, let's see what the judges say. So stupid.
You don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot, but he's just an asshole, you know, with his you know, he's 30, so he's from this influencer generation where you hop online and the t-shirt sales and all that. I'm past that type of stuff. I'm like, bro, if you had a little bit more respect, then maybe we could have worked something out.
No, you're lying. This is one. This is the part where Jon is like, you know what? I'm not even scared of Tom Aspinall. If you weren't such an asshole to me, maybe we could have worked something out. What are you on about, Jon Jones? No, you couldn't. You couldn't. You're just saying that. How has Tom Aspinall been an asshole again? Because he put his hand on your shoulder? Because he said he thinks he can beat you? What about the fact that you have got multiple fights cancelled, pulled out of events, got events moved by popping over and over again, hitting pregnant women, delaying Daniel Cormier's career, and then ruining his career? What has Aspinall done? What? I can't believe this. Like it's Jon Jones saying that to someone. Jon Jones.
You know, but I just don't even want to do business with him. You know, at the end of the day, this is a business, and fighting me gives him an opportunity to change his life forever. And I don't even want to give him the opportunity. Like he just played his cards wrong with me personally, and you know, I'm 3 years from being a 40-year-old grown man.
I'm gonna end this here. He's 3 years from being a 40-year-old grown man. He played his cards wrong. He's acting like he's all this high and mighty. Look at the way he's holding his mic. Just a little massive pussy on the stage. Even the way he's holding his mic. Like, who the hell does that? I know he'd kill me. Listen, right, if you've watched it this far into the video, he would kill me within 2 seconds. Maybe even quicker than that. He would brutalize me. No one's denying that. Whatever. But just his attitude to the whole situation, everything he says, the way he goes about it, carrying himself, he is one of, if not the most dislikable fighters I think I've ever watched. And he's my least favorite fighter ever. And I've thought this for years, since he was fighting Gustafsson the second time around. I was pissed off that the event was getting changed because he was clearly cheating. And I've hated him ever since. And sadly, I might never get to see him get finished off in the octagon, because the only guy that could probably beat him is not allowed to fight him now. But anyway, he will mollywop Stipe Miocic. It does nothing for his legacy. If anyone comes in the comment section of any of my, I mean, no one's gonna come, but it just, I don't want to see it. Oh, this is what Jon Jones is the greatest. I already know. I'm already planning on making a video about Dana White after the pay-per-view ends. You know why? Because I can already tell Dana White's going to go into some delusional rant and say, well, this is what Jon Jones is the GOAT. Wow, how can you count out Stipe? Like, Stipe was looking good, man. That first round was really boring and slow. He's looking good until the second round when Jon Jones smashed his head in. Bullshit. Anyway, like, share, I mean, don't share. Just like and subscribe to this video. I have 107 subscribers. Give me to 125. Come on, guys. Trying to get monetized here. Let's get a little bit upbeat, alright? I'll see you guys next time.